I'm very proud and honored to say that in this community, we are very strongly based. Our coalition is made up of over 40 organizations, some of them sitting in the room, the cities, the counties, the state, many of them from churches, organizations, and a lot of social services agencies. And I'm the proud executive director that gets to work with all of them. I do want to, everybody else got a chance, including Carter, to say hello to Carter. I want to thank my partners from EOC, from the county, Lutheran Services, which does our case management, and so many other organizations that really are the ones that will address and assess what is missing so we could make sure that we advocate correctly to our partners in the city and in the council. This money is very impressive that it came down so soon. I am new in the area, but I have a lot of experience with disaster, and it's impressive that in 10 months, although it sounds like a lot, if your home has been broken for that long and your family has been displaced, this money is being made available. And the coordination between the city and the state and the county is very impressive. I hope that we all show up to support them at the hearings, and that September 15th due date goes without a jinx. I was getting ready to write my questions, but I guess I will address them later. I do want to say 2 or 3 things about the coalition. This coalition has been meeting since about 7 years. When first disaster occurred in 2011, the tornadoes brought down some of the city and county, and this group of people from churches and everywhere got together and said, no, we are not going to leave the families behind. And really, they helped rebuild. The long-term recovery after a disaster is instrumental for the community. If we all join together and we don't forget the surviving families, then our community will be stronger. And that's why we're in this room, to make sure that the dollars are used correctly so everybody builds stronger. Low-income housing, I'm sitting next to Lutheran Services Supervisor of Case Management, and every Tuesday we meet for unmet needs, and low-income housing affordable is very, very almost impossible. And if we're addressing it now, we might have a chance to be able to say that we have conquered. We all know that the resources will never be enough, but the coalition, CDRC, is here to make sure that we're hearing what our unmet needs are, and we're communicating and trying to refer and ensure that the organizations that need to hear it are hearing it. So in the back, you saw that there is a brochure. Feel free to call our offices at any moment. It is this organization was made up with volunteers, so it's the first staff, as the first staff member. I am honored to say that we are already up and running, and I wanted to take a minute to let you all know that our first activity will be happening. And as you all know, October 8th will be coming around within a couple of weeks, which is the anniversary of our disaster. And what the CDRC, with many of our stakeholders, is planning is a luncheon to make sure that the people that are important are not forgotten. Those first rescuers, those first people that were there, forgetting about their own homes and everything else, those heroes of our community, those people that said, we need to go pick up somebody that is being flooded, those people that just took off their coats, got on their boats, and went and rescued them from top of the rooftops. Those heroes that have not been in the media, those heroes that the politicians have not heard their stories, we're asking the community to let us know who they are, who was the one that affected your life. And the CDRC is committed to making sure that some light is shined on them. On October 19th, we're planning a luncheon to say thank you to those heroes during the disaster a year ago. And we've all read the newspaper. We've seen, I wasn't in town, very luckily, but I've spent a lot of hours researching who those heroes are. But I'm very interested, and I'm sure that our leaders in our community are very interested to hear who really made a difference in your life. So I hope that you take a minute or 5 minutes give me a paragraph of somebody who affected your community, somebody who made a difference for you. Because as the leader of this coalition, I want to make sure that they're not forgotten. That last year they made a heroic act when they saved the community, and we want to make sure that they are appreciated. So please take the form, make copies, pass them out, give them out in your church, but most importantly, bring them back, mail them back, email them back, fax them back, whatever it takes. But tell me something about a hero, somebody in your community that made a difference, that you know about and probably nobody else knows about. And Carter, yes, you could vote also. Grandma made a difference. Was she good during the disaster? Is that why your hand was raised? Yeah, I thought so. We'll say thank her to her too. You have a fan there. The other thing I was going to take 1 minute to beg all of you. All of us, wow, Jay, you weren't the only one. All of us know how hard this was. All of us. All of us had the crisis in the street. Even if your house didn't get wet, it was impossible to get to your daily life. We don't want to forget that. And now that the hurricane is approaching its 1-year anniversary, a lot of feelings, especially when you see a night like today that's starting to storm, children that started school, they are going to have fear. They're going to have needs. And we have in the coalition set up the proper referrals so you could get help. If you have a need that has not been addressed, because it's maybe minor to somebody else, but surely not for your family, that's when we need you to call. And we will partner with our case management team, or we will partner with our recovery team and make sure that you don't fall through the cracks. The reason I was mentioning the beginning of the school year, all the storms today, if we could take a minute to think about Texas, all those disasters that continue to happen, and North Carolina, Fayetteville, and Cumberland County will be forgotten soon. But for us, is our community, and it will take a long-term recovery for this storm. It's projected to take 5 to 10 years easily before all our families are back in a safe environment. So thinking that through, thinking that it's, I'm asking all of you to think of ways that you could give something back. And maybe you're still missing your home, maybe you're still, but if you have any opportunity to volunteer, we're looking for volunteers. Maybe you belong to a church, or the Boy Scouts, or some organization in town. If you're able to, please call us and volunteer. And you can volunteer for 2 hours or 2 weeks. But we need help. We need people to come together as a group and say, yes, I'll go help somebody else that's in need. We have over 400 homes that need projects. And under the organizations that we work with, Encore is one of them, the United Methodist Men, we're able to go into their homes and help these organizations. In the audience, I know we have some people that we're trying to help. We need groups of volunteers. They're coming from all over the United States. We have groups that have come from Florida, from New York, from Pennsylvania. We have a lot that have come from our area too. But if you know of an organization that is willing to donate some hours, 4 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, 2 weeks, whatever, we will take it. Because that organization, that group of 2, that group of 20, could go into a home and finish that home. And that's what I'm here for, asking for your support. Thank you for having me. If you know of any volunteers or anybody that is still missing some unmet need, please feel free to take my number and give it to them. It has my cell number. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, so I know we've had a couple of cards pass forward, so I'll ask Victor or Dee to come up and answer those. And we'll collect others as they come up and answer. Yeah, okay. And I also want to remind you that to sign up for Cumberland Alerts, as you came in the door, there was a flyer. You want to take extra flyers back to share with your neighbors. That is Cumberland County's new emergency notification system. How many of you were signed up for Code Red? Okay, today you should have gotten a reminder that that code red information will not roll over. So you do need to take a few minutes and go into the website and sign up. And if you haven't done so, please do. It's free. You'll get a text message, a phone call, and you can do multiple phone numbers. You do your hard line at home, do your mobile, get a text, sign up your parents and your children. Please be sure to sign up for Cumberland Alerts. It's free. It can save a life.
Okay, so I'll take the first question that I have. This question asks, is there or will there be any relief for business owners who are currently renting a location in Cumberland County? In the city's side of the programs that we'll be administering, we are proposing funding for small business recovery. We have not designed that program, so it is very possible that there will be funding for businesses. And I think the key here, though, is whether or not they're renting. That it is a possibility. It would be a matter of what their situation is, the relationship with the lease that they will have for the building in which they're in. We do have programs today that are available. Well, we provided assistance, I will say, to businesses that received some damage as far as the hurricane is concerned. So we're hoping to at least be able to provide further assistance with this pot of money. So we will have to design that program, but our goal is to also help business owners. The second one I have is, I think it's more, some questions in regards to specific items that need to be done in regards to hot water heater, and just maybe needing some further assistance. But I can talk directly to the person. Okay, we'll do that. So I'll let Dee go ahead.
Well, some of these, yeah, I may need to talk with some directly as well, but I'll go with this first question. Assuming that I understand correctly that this federal money goes at least in part for developing housing, how does that work? We need low-income housing. Will you build it? And will you give money to developers to build it? And can we avoid building in the floodplain? So basically, the city and the county will be partnering in developing multifamily housing in the communities. This process will be offered through a request for proposal to solicit RFPs from developers. So we have to follow a procurement process to stay in compliance with the CDBG regulations. And yes, the multifamily housing that will be developed will benefit low to moderate income households.